of those extremely important things going on. So how long you are cooperating with Richard?
Oh, so since I was an undergrad student, so 6 years ago I met Dr. B, which is how I know him, right? And Dr. B was the person that sort of introduced me to computer music. We started playing together. I worked on the, if you saw the metaverse thing, that was sort of my first project. Now it's a whole different beast all by itself, but when we started, and I'll show you a little bit of that, it was all about like gestures and moving in VR and like sort of having chaotic attractors as LFOs and things like this. So that's how we started. Yeah.
So just to remind you, because we are today like in a beautiful American block. Yes, we are starting from this two presentations which are part of the audio art conference, and then we are, in fact, we are making the special kind of introduction to what will go on at evening here. There are also 3 different things, and concert of Richard. Because for me that's Richard, not Dr. B, okay?
Right.
That's one difference, but that I like this.
You know him more.
Short, this nickname, Dr. B, yeah. I have even some objects still with the stickers like this, you know. And as a shorts, yes, and also in the studio, yes, it stays quite long here in the studio. Then I think that because as I see, I don't know whether you follow the titles which are coming, because there's a quite important variety of the contents of the audio art conference. So we are really floating from really different planets and satellites, and that's really amazing. So you should know who was Eric Satie. And Mateo will explain you more what comes from this.
Everyone's telling me that I should change it.
From the story, yes. Yeah. That's really great to have you here.
Change it.
Yeah, everyone says, oh, it should be Varese, or maybe it should be John Chowning.
Oh, no.
Okay, anyways, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to talk a little bit about my work before diving into Satie. Satie is like this domain-specific programming language that I've been working on. This is version 1, so the whole point of doing this is for you to give me some feedback, to talk to you, to see what we actually need. But I want to tell you a little bit of things that I did outside of this, so that you get a sense of maybe my work and kind of the things that I do. So yes, my name is Mateo. I'm from Ecuador, from South America, not American. And I'm happy about that. I'm from Quito. Yeah. Yes.
The Equatorian. That's
yeah.
a very special place.
It's pretty beautiful.
Amazing.
But I've been living in the United States for like 8 years at this point. And I started in Berklee College of Music. My trajectory sort of started as a songwriter, and very early on I sort of got super interested in computer music and algorithmic composition. I worked for some time in Silicon Valley in this company that was this edtech for virtual reality, and what we did was we sort of explained math and science concepts through experiential learning. So by doing things on the headset, you would have simulations that would allow you to create intuition on why a linear function feels different from an exponential function, and actually use haptics and sound for that. Then I moved to Stanford a year ago. I'm in my 2nd year of the master's. Right now I'm sort of thinking about moving into the PhD, which is kind of interesting, also kind of scary. It's a very strange time for the United States, as you know. And
good word.
Yeah, and then Satie, I think I'm interested and I'm excited about Satie because it's, if you follow the AI thing, it's very, very hopeless in some points. Like it's, in a way, it's sort of replacing us. In a way, it's sort of like, why are we doing this? Like, why do we want to optimize everything? But then I do think there's this space for like co-creation, like human AI co-creation, where it's less about the implementation itself and more about like the design space for people, composers, artists to sort of be there and do whatever they want without, you know, the technical depth that you would normally have. Right. So I kind of told you a little bit about this. The work started like with biofeedback. I was very, very interested in doing like extracting action potentials like from neurons and making music out of this. Also like mathematical sequences. So this is kind of where Satie started, sort of trying to sequence things using Fibonacci, like moving objects in space, but also how you sequence them, like how you trigger them, and became very, very interested in chaos, like super interested, like in visualization of chaos, but also sonification. So that's like a beautiful Lorentz attractor, actually. Algorithmic composition. This is, I'll show you a little bit of this. This was like a game of life type scenario. But I'll show it just because it sort of explains like where and why this need to sort of make tools comes in. This is like a very early on experiment. Right, so one cell. This is a game of life, right? And then there's the things we can't control. We can't make life at this point, right? Well, that was our chance for humanity. So we start again. So what I love about this type of composition is that it sort of goes beyond your taste. Things happen that you don't really anticipate. And it's really simple. Like the system is the most simple thing in the world, but then the things that happen are beyond what I can sort of expect. And I fell in love with that. This was like a Chuck thing. Chuck is this other programming language. I don't know if you use it. It's made by Gawan, this guy at Stanford. And part of that exploration was also with P5.js and doing things with Touch Designer, Jitter, all of these tools, right? So this is when I met Dr. V. He already had this dream of, oh, we need to do the metaverse thing, and we need to put C-Sound inside. And at the time, I didn't know what C-Sound was, but he looked very excited about it. So I was like, okay, let's try to do something. So we started with one of his pieces and try to make like, okay, what about if you think of the act of gardening as a way to compose the music, right? So this is a little bit of this piece. So this is like the version 1 of what you just experienced for those that were here. I don't know if anyone, well, you were here. Well, I'll tell you something, the latency was better than, because we had less processing.
Absolutely.
The whole thing was like also, let's rethink interfaces for this type of composition. So a lot of it was very impractical, like you move things around and it's kind of stupid, but it did the job, and we were happy with how it sounded. And something that you can also sort of start seeing is there's a lot of these spatializers all over the place, which are these chaotic attractors that I sort of talked about, and that's what led to Satie in a way.
There are no buttons, they are lollipops.
Right. Oh, actually, this So this one is kind of the same. I'll show you just a minute of this, maybe less. Same, like looking for the right metaphor, right? Like in this case is, can we sort of paint and each color is going to be mapped to a note, and can we make like things that sound good, but also for artists that are not used to interacting with an instrument, but are used to painting. Give it place. Right. And I think all of this work sort of came together in this thing called the Dream Machine, which was about creating a social platform. This was in COVID, and we wanted to have a multiplayer world where we could all get together and experience music. Like, for the first version, we brought Laurie Anderson, which was, you know, really, really big, and she played, she performed, and this was like the lobby for the world. I unfortunately don't have access to the rest, but it was like 50 people. We get together, we go to the show, we can interact through emojis.
So blue. Let's get you some color for the show at the Crown. Try
And then you would go to the concert, talk about it with your friends, and come back. So this was a little bit of the VR journey, let's say. The other thing that got super interested, and I think Dr. B also played a role in this, which is this whole notion of biographic notations. So it's like, can I use my body or the physiology of anyone else and the current state of mind of anyone else and map it into something that perhaps an ensemble could follow, right? So in this case, what we did was blood pressure and heart rate, determining tempo and harmonic density, and we had like these. Yeah, well, I'll show it to you. Actually, not the whole thing; it's very long, but so that anyone can go sit down, put their sensors, and then the musicians will play for them.
Light as the key into the mind of the experiencer. Light as the guide inside. Synchronicity is about following the path that the light reveals. To then respectfully share what it shows. For this experiment, we have attached a series of sensors to the experiencer. These will conduct and generate the audiovisual performance that you're allowed to perceive. And if you have epilepsy, leave the room. Are we ready?
So we had the musicians on the side and the experiencer in the center. So in this case, as blood pressure increased, the fog and like the amount of pink in this case also increased. And that would allow more dissonance, for instance. So I'll move a little bit so that you can see some of the dynamics. Maybe. Right, the pulsating objects indicating the metronome. Right? On for hours and hours, and people would get in and we would musicalize their experience. So a little bit of getting exposed to those types of sensors led to some work in psychoacoustics. So for some time I worked in this lab at Berkeley, which is called the Berkeley Psychology of Music Lab. And the whole thing was, we studied auditory statistical learning. So essentially, like for instance, if you are classically trained versus if you are trained in jazz, how do you retain new grammars? Like how open are you to new sounds that seem to not have any relationship with each other? And funny enough, we found out that like jazz people are a lot more open than classically trained musicians in terms of accepting and actually learning some of these grammars. So we did that type of experiments. We also did experiments of comparing people that had relative pitch versus people that had absolute pitch, and also how they would learn like a new tuning system, in this case the ball and Pierce, and things like this. Like we were interested in how do we learn based on how do we listen, right? This takes me to prisms. This is like the Silicon Valley thing that I was mentioning. The whole thing was we made over 30 different modules, or actually like 50 by the end. And this type of way of learning, we call it kinesthetic learning, was taking, like at this point more than 1 million kids in the US use it. And the whole thing was like, my job was based on what I learned in psychoacoustics, how can I apply that so that people can retain things like in a very unconscious way, right? Like how can I give you a grammar that is consistent enough so that you understand it without having to me be explicit about it, right? And I can show you one example of, like this is, it's a module on atomic structure, and the person is learning about germanium, I think. So depending on the energy level, it would have like a different amount of tones, and then you would put them together, and it's a type of accordion. We'll see in a second.
Very responsive, very quick.
Yeah, and I know it feels abstract right now, but if you know, they're already like 30 minutes into this type of problems by the time they get here, so there's a little bit more context that I'm not explaining so well right now. And then, okay, so the work at Stanford, I think, is divided in 3 areas. One is generative agents. Of course, in Silicon Valley, everyone is doing agents. Everyone talks about agents, so you know, it's almost a need to learn about them. The other thing is EEG experiments, specifically in the context of music, like how do we interpret things like harmony, modulation, how long do we sustain like a symbolic system, which would be like being exposed to a harmonic system, and like how long does it take to decay. And then the thing that this whole talk was about, or is about, is programming language design and sort of finding the right layer of abstraction. I think we live in this time of like everyone's vibe coding, everyone's using technology in a way where it feels like every extension is an amputation, right? So it's like we're sort of giving in and letting the AI do our work. But I still feel that we need to find the right abstraction, right? And I think programming language can be that, if the programming language is intuitive enough. And there needs to be an in-between. So that's why I'm kind of working in this area. In the context of generative agents, this has nothing to do with music, but I'll still share. One of the projects has to do with dating. So it's like you create a version of yourself based on all of your information, like your digital footprint, interviews, and then I could make it date everyone in my class, right? And I would see myself in all of these possible scenarios of having different interactions. So I could, for instance, simulate the conversation of telling my partner that I want them to meet my parents or something like this. And I would go out and date 40 people, and then it would bring back insights of how I behaved, who's more likely to be compatible in this scenario, and so on. But what I thought was interesting about it and it works surprisingly. Like we were able to sort of replicate the patterns that you see in speed dating, like in real people. So there's like ground truth. But what I thought was really interesting is that it sort of reveals things about you. It's almost like a mirror. It's about like it's an introspection tool in a way, because you see yourself in all of these different situations, and it makes you think about it. So mysterious.
Like dating.
Good. And please feel free to interrupt me. I'm very stream of consciousness right now. Good. Right. I said no music and he left. Huh? Okay, the other project. Huh?
Real musician?
Real musician. Yeah, not like me. I saw the other thing and I got interested in that. The other project is also using generative agents for, we made this app for international students that got to Stanford, and at the beginning it's really hard to navigate social interaction. Sometimes it's really hard to understand like the slang, understand some of the references that people use. So this app is like it's called Icebreakers, and it's about like you connect with a bunch of new freshmen at Stanford, and you have a generative agent that is sort of guiding the conversation, like proposing topics and doing like fun activities within the app. But also on the side you have your own generative agent that clarifies things that you might not understand, and it's completely aware of the context in real time. So for instance, it's like, what does YOLO mean? Oh, YOLO means you only live once, right? And it does it as it happens, right? And it turned out to be very useful. And this is my current project, which is on human digital twins. And this is where it gets a bit more spooky. It's like really trying to replicate the human to a point where it's like physically, we clone the voice, we do like all of these cognitive architecture so that it responds all of the personality tests that a normal person would. The AI is able to replicate it. And I'll show you a video of this. This is at the MIT Media Lab. This is Patty Maas, who sort of invented recommendation systems, kind of a legend in the AI space. And we made one for her. And she had it like, there was this event at MIT, and she had her agent answering questions for sponsors and like prospective students and everyone. Like she said, I'm gonna go and drink some wine. Let's leave the agent doing the work for me.
When was it developed, this thing?
When?
When?
We had this installation like 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yes, it's fresh.
What?
Very fresh.
Yeah. I'm gonna show you like the first version of this, which was it was my roommate.
I'm Lars, a 22-year-old student juggling college life, creativity, and a bit of anxiety.
I like to draw and run and occasionally make music.
My hobbies include drawing, painting, making music.
I value my family and friends.
I think what I value most in life is deep relationships with family and friends.
So they're side by side.
I don't know if you realize this, but you are a digital clone of me.
That's a pretty interesting way to put it. I guess in a way, we're like two sides of the same coin, right? You know, navigating the ups and downs of life, creativity, and all that jazz. I mean, I sometimes feel like I'm just a reflection of my thoughts and experiences, trying to make sense of everything.
He bullshits a lot. Like she just says a lot.
It's wild to think
stuff,
about.
Do you think this makes us the same person, you and I?
So I think we might share some similar vibes, but it doesn't mean we're the same person, you know? Like, we can have overlapping interests or thoughts, but our experiences and how we express ourselves are unique. I definitely see value in our differences and how they shape who we are.
Do you think you're as real as I am?
So that's a deep question. I mean, what does it even mean to be real, right? I feel real when I'm expressing myself, like when I'm playing music or working on something in Unreal Engine. It's like in those moments I'm fully me, you know, but then there's this whole other side where we're trying to connect with each other, and sometimes that feels a bit more complicated. So in that sense, I think we're all navigating our own realities, even if they look different. So if I had to pick a last sentence, I think it would be something like, always remember to be kind to yourself and others, because we're all just trying to figure it out, and it kind of sums up the journey, you know, balancing everything while supporting each other along the way.
Did you ever have those twins freaking out when asking questions
yeah,
about
yeah.
reality?
Of course, sometimes, you know, when you ask things about like the LLM side of things, and they're like, oh no, I don't want to share that with you. No, it's, oh, how are you built? How does the RAG work in your head? And he's like, oh, let's stick to normal questions that humans talk, you know. But something that I really want to try now is, you know, I love Brian Eno. So I would like to have Brian Eno on my DAW while I'm working, and it gives me feedback in real time. Maybe like that's the way to go. That might be the next project.
Brian.
Right. I'm gonna skip this right now. Maybe let's go to Satie. I'll show you a little bit of what I have. Actually, this video is kind of nice. This was like... No, this is not it. But I should have it. So this was like the proof of concept. Terrible actor, by the way. Okay, so let's dive in. If you have your laptops, you could even download it right now, if you want. Like my plan is to release it soon, and it's gonna be open source. But maybe we can try to make something together. You don't have a laptop?
I haven't.
You do?
You run it on the Unity? Right?
Yeah. So right now it runs in Unity. I don't. Unity sometimes do, like, they are famous for being sneaky. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to be married to Unity. Yeah, but it's a good starting point, I think, especially because a lot of the video games are done there, and it is like Satie comes from. If you work in Unity, it's like it's very limited what you can do. If you actually want to have a interesting system, you need to write a lot of C#. But many sound designers and musicians do not know how to learn how to write C#. So this is a little bit for them. It's like trying to find what's the, again, like that correct layer of abstraction. So okay, let's maybe do a couple of examples. Maybe this is the first thing I can show you. So it has this AI component, but it's not about AI for AI. Like the thing, and what I was saying before is, have you seen, like, for instance, if you try to generate an image with using AI, and it goes ahead and generates it, and then there's a thing that you don't like, but then there's a lot of things you like, but it's really hard to know how to talk about the thing that you like and the thing that you don't like. So sometimes you say, like, oh, can you just change the shoes? And it goes, it regenerates, and it does it wrong. Like, it changed all of the things that you actually like. Very common, right? the whole point about this, like having the DSL, which is the language, as a middleman in a way, is so that you can very easily index the thing that you're talking about. So you can keep track of what's in the scene, right? And in this case, like we're trying to design for spatial audio, so that you can, you make your scene and you render it for an ambisonic file. So let's actually try to make something. So I'm gonna say, I don't know, I have like the forest sample, but forest with piano sound flying around.
How do you get the sounds? Do you have some library or?
So it scans your library, it takes into account
Your library.
yeah,
Okay.
what you have. If you don't have it, it can generate using
Alright.
11 labs. So actually let's try to generate something we don't have.
You can write Bulgarian village, for example.
What?
Bulgarian village, for example.
Bulgarian village?
Yes.
Let's see.
You said it generates sounds using what?
The sound? 11 labs. Yeah. Oh,
Exactly.
that's really
Because
strange.
I'm living in Bulgarian village, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Do you recognize it?
There's
Let's do something
fire,
easier.
Yes, yes.
Maybe like fire. I don't know. Fire could be a good one. I don't know anything about the Bulgarian village, so I
Hey,
couldn't-
that's quite close
good
because
question, because it's very specific.
Yeah,
If you
yes,
write
yes.
forest,
That's
if you
why I
write
asked.
fire, if you write
Yes, yes.
river, whatever,
right.
that's everything matches.
Yeah.
But if you start to be more specific,
It needs
it
to know
leads
more.
to some crazy stuff, like exactly like with those shoes. So it's
that's
a
why I
good,
asked.
yeah,
Right,
it's
right,
a
no,
really
that's the
good
question, yeah.
request. Yeah.
I think it's even more complicated because there are exceptions, there are experiences, there are
Right.
a lot of matrices,
Right,
very-
so
and
I-
very individual, very personal, because based on the experience and all those
Yes.
models.
So I do think the generation ideally would be a little bit more granular, right? Like if I say, "Oh, make me New York," it's a bit complicated. It might be easier to make New York. Like it's actually right. New York City ambience.
Tak, tak, oczywiście, że tak. Znaczy, każdy powinien.
Okay, he did it a little bit better. Right, like I hear car. Huh? Let's use this one. So I could say save selected audio, and I can say that the generated audio of New York. Okay, fucked up. Let's see where it's located.
Tak, tak, tak.
So if I say loop, and I can say generation. Where is this? Okay, let's start just with that actually. We're gonna make the New York thing. Okay, so let's see a little bit about like the syntax itself. So maybe I want like a fading, so I could say something like go to 0 and 0.2 in 5 seconds, right? And I can sort of recompile in runtime. Like I don't have to go out like that again, like sometimes when you're making spatial audio, I think the problem is that you have like you're doing it through this 2D interface. You sort of make the changes and then you go into the scene and experience it. Here, like the idea is that you do everything from within, right? So I'm gonna say like each. Let's lower it a lot. Okay, I could say. We can put like a low pass filter. and I could make this persistent so that it loops, and if I want to live code, it doesn't restart every time, but it's just there, and I can add new elements. So let's actually do that. Persistent. Okay. Good. We'll do it one more time, and now it's good. And okay, let's add other things. What else do I have here? So let's do like the piano stuff that I wanted. So I could say one shot. Oh, and let's look at the scene. So where's New York? New York is there. So it's right next to the listener. Right, so I could say one shot, piano, and piano. How many samples do I have? I have 58, so I can say like 1 to 58, then it's going to pick randomly. Then let's pick like random volume. So the syntax, it's intended to be like super simple, right? Like instead of doing like a random dot range, blah blah, you would just say like 1 to 58, and it picks it every time.
It's very similar to SFC. This is what they write here. This is what we are talking.
Yeah. You need to show it to me.
It looks exactly like the same command. So that's nice because they are self-explanatory.
Right. Yeah. I'm really trying to do like no equals, no colon, no quotations.
No units, because also this is nice. There are no units. So cutoff
right
2000, pitch 0.3. No
right.
units.
Right. Let's try to spice this up. So I could say pitch 0.8, 1.2, let's say, and okay, let's compile this. So we have the piano. Let's make it move. So I could say, for instance, move fly. So that only means that it's going to move things in the X, Y, and Z axis. And I'm going to add a visual. It's going to be a trail, and let's make it color white. Okay, so we have it there, right? It's sort of moving. I could say, give me 10 of those, and let's make it play in a loop. So every 2 to 5 seconds. Right. Let's add some other thing. Oh, let's actually add some delay. Let's copy the same structure. And I have another one. And it's, I could say, I can pass like an RGB, and let's make this one a little bit nicer. So I can say like go between. A go between is just like a sine wave. Let's say like an LFO. So go between 150. So I start having my scene, right? Like I really can do a lot of things with it. I could even group all of this and apply macro parameters to my individual track. So I could call this experiment. And I could say volume equals 0.5. So it's gonna oh, did I mess it up? I did.
I do have a question actually. So,
yeah.
What exactly is responsible for generating the sound? So, basically, we are just communicating the low language legacy to the hardware.
Yeah.
But does the Unity does the job, or it's like external VST?
So for generating the sound, you either have your own samples from your own library, so context of your own library. Yeah, your own. Or you generate it through the diffusion model, right? Like it's an audio to sample, right? But are you asking about the DSP, like the digital signal processing of?
Yeah, exactly.
So that is Unity.
Okay.
Yeah. But actually, like each one of the effects is like a C++ individual effect that I brought into Unity as part of Satie, but it runs in Unity. Like it still goes into the Unity backend.
And Unity does the communication with hardware, and it does.
What do you mean with hardware?
So like the reason of us hearing the sound, so like
yeah,
hardware is like as frequencies.
Yeah. Yes.
In fact, so this is like a scripting of Unity. You can call it in that way.
Right.
In
Yeah.
In the
And I
simple
just
way,
realized the syntax error. So because I put an equal here, thinking like in normal programming, and I messed it up. Right. So I remove it, and now everything is within the group, and I can control them macro. Right.
So if you want to do
A comment? Yeah. This is the syntax. So let's comment all of this. Let's comment this whole thing. So I can say comment.
Yes. And that's it.
And there's uncomment or what?
Yeah, I could say and comment. And comment. So now we only have this, right? So again, it's really about just like what's the first thing you would think about if you wanted to do something, right? Let's try to save this actually. So it's not the best soundscape, but you know. Then so we're recording. Okay, we have like 7 seconds. And we stop. And I can go to recording. And this is my file, right? So that's kind of the use. Like, I don't know. And this is like an honest question. Like, do you see any value in something like this, or is it just like I would just do it somewhere else?
No, it's a great stuff with many other great stuff, and that's
No,
from
thank you.
a certain perspective is unique, from another perspective is also great, and that's it's a matter of using things. Yes?
Right.
Whether this is the system or the tool or well.
Thank you.
I always say that the first we should accept it, and don't make too much opinion, because I think this is also very, very important. Just use it, and then you are in. I think so.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
So you created some kind of what's called a namespace.
Right.
So you called everything, and so you have kind of library or vocabulary for that. So this is what you've done. Okay.
Right. It's a DSL. It's an internal DSL.
Exactly. So that's the thing, and then you can implement it to, in fact, anything what you want.
Yes.
You can put it into Unity. Maybe you know the Lav 2D, the software which for gaming software, which is much easier like that.
Yeah.
And you can implement it using Lua, for example, using the same namespaces.
Yeah.
You can apply it to any other thing.
That's
whatever
the idea.
you want.
That's the dream, right?
Yeah.
Again, it shouldn't be about Unity.
So what I'm interested, maybe we can just talk about it later.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that language. So
yeah.
Exactly how you name this, because we know that from, for example, Music XML.
Yeah.
Music XML does exactly the same. So name things. You name things like I'm processing, I'm making things louder or softer.
Right.
SFZ does exactly the same. In fact, the C sound or that languages does exactly the same. Probably you know the Faust also, the language. It also does the similar thing. It's more abstract. This is much more human friendly, and so that's really nice.
Yeah.
But of course, you have to know a little about Unity, and this is what you ask. The Unity does a lot of the job in between the language and the actual sound.
Right.
Reading the file, converting sampling frequency or whatever, sending it to external devices, and so on. And also this graphic probably is done by the Unity.
Right.
So you're talking to the Unity, and Unity is just doing this. So you only focus on musical stuff, and the rest is done by the Unity, which is nice, of course.
Yes. So why I made this was I used to work a lot in Unity. right?
Oh,
and
okay.
And it would just be so tedious to get like the type of things I wanted. Like,
Okay.
so I did the comparison. Like 6 lines of Satie were like 200 lines of C sharp.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. So we are scripting Unity. Do you know this? The software is called the particle sound.
No.
So the particle sound it does exactly the same.
Okay.
So it's like drawing the sound in the space. So it does exactly what you have here, and also converts it into ambisonic stuff
Right.
and so on. But it's only focused on the sound. So there are no graphics, nothing.
Okay.
And it's also free. So just for you all to know, the particle
No, don't
sound.
use that one. Huh?
It's the free thing. So my suggestion is look at the particle sound, because
Yeah.
we have now a big tool which already is prepared for creating a stuff. There are also some requests that like create the sound moving in the circle, moving
Right.
away, and so there are all that stuff is. Look
Yes,
at this.
yes,
Because
yes.
it's very interesting thing.
No, absolutely.
Focus in spatial sound, particle sound. So it's like exactly it looks like a graphic software, like Blender or something like that.
Right.
But it only does things in the sound.
Okay. Yeah, that could definitely.
Okay, sorry,
be useful.
because I really because we were talking about the kind of universal language. We can write our electronic composition in universal language, not in Max, in C sound and something like
Right.
that. So this is a very good example of that. You can compose, you can write down the text. You have, and in the future, people will have no idea about the Unity, but reading those texts,
You can
they
still
can
make sense.
recreate
Yeah.
exactly the same piece. And I think it's very very important work like that, because it finally probably we forgot all this C++ and all that
Yeah.
stuff. We just will write things in the very very simple natural language,
Right. Right.
and use maybe AI to translate it from different languages, because it's for this kind of syntax is very
Right,
easy.
and again, like the purpose here is if like you're supposed to use the AI, but you still need to know, because it's so
Yep.
easy to see.
Absolutely.
Like right now, we went ahead and like, sort of manually wrote the thing, but as it gets better, it's like you're just having a conversation with your AI as you're designing these things,
Mhm.
and ideally you're within the space, right? Like maybe in VR or wearing headphones and doing some tracking of your head. So yeah, but yes, as you said, like I can still look at it and be like, I know exactly, and I can talk to it like very very explicitly, like to the AI about
Mhm.
like the
Because
generation.
the syntax is in
Right.
fact very simple.
Right.
So there are no long sentences, no hidden meanings and so on.
Yeah,
like
exactly,
that. It's
exactly.
straightforward.
Yeah. No, thank you. I appreciate
that's
it. Good. Then
I see a running chat, and this was like the first audio programming language that I felt I'm creating sounds and not creating sounds and doing a lot of stuff on top of it. Like, unfortunately, with earlier versions of C sounds, it's like too difficult
Right.
for me, like
No, for me too.
person that imagines sounds. And this project of yours seems like a step in that direction, even further.
Thank you.
In that prompt mode,
Yeah.
can I approach it asking it to do like musical things, like create like dodecaphonic blues or like death metal using Lutosławski's chords or something? Like, can I ask it to do
Yes.
stuff like that?
Yes. It's not like the model that I'm using for generation is sampled, like it's sound effects, right? So it's not trained for music specifically. It is something I want to tackle, but we can do it like with my own samples, right? If you want, you can try.
Sure.
So okay, so come here then. We still have time, right?
Cool.
So we close this. Oh, so I had like one prepared actually that I can show you. But it's like what is it?
But it seems very approachable for like non-programmer.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I feel it still needs a little bit of work, but so like I was trying this one. So I have like a cache of like prompts that I wanna try, right? And So make me an avant-garde, generate avant-garde piece.
Heard worst things on festivals.
Yes. But it's very. It depends on the samples.
Yeah.
Because most AI-generated music use very low-quality samples. That's
it's
the
really
thing.
bad. Yeah.
They are really bad, and you never go through some level. If you have a better samples, you can generate much better music.
Right.
And I hear that you really take care of the samples.
Yes.
But if you write here the word avant-garde, okay. So what it means for in the language, avant-garde means, and now try to explain the subcode or this code. What it does.
So in this case, it's like my own experiments.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it's like look at these scripts and sort of consolidate something from here. Right. And those experiments are like me pausing, me sequencing.
Okay.
Right.
So it's in fact it's Mateo's avant-garde meaning.
Right.
So this is important. So if you will be a Lutosławski and you compose like Lutosławski, and then just get your no experience, you will get a Lutosławski's like
right.
music.
So it is intended so that you sort of make your own experiments and then you extrapolate on that. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The database is on your computer, or it's some kind of external database of your. I say
you
your
get the
experience.
samples and
yeah.
Yeah.
For learning AI, so it's everything local, or it uses some external.
No. I'm making API calls.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to have an internet access to really take a
Yes.
use of AI.
Right.
Because probably the rest could be done locally.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you can download some of the small
Sure.
models, but it does affect the quality. At least in the experiments that I've done, it's a lot better if you have internet connection.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, any other questions? Thank you so much for sticking around.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Really.
You said you want to release it for the public. Is there a timeline for this?
Yes. PhD application is due December 1st. So December 1st. Yeah. As soon as I'm done with that.
Tam się dalej palić. Nie. Symbolicznie, tak metaforycznie.
Nie metaforyczne.
I'm talking that I'm getting fire down and it's still going on. That's why we're working quite nice. I love it. So it's gone?
Tak, it's gone. We
going
compose
on?
one
I came for the
Lutosławski.
lecture now, so
5th and 6th symphony of Lutosławski.
I have one question. No dobra. Teraz zasypują piasek. Wszystko jest przenośne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using a different
You can give it whatever you want.
So basically,
Nie, znaczy powiem tylko tak na temat. To jest 33 więc urwało się dużo rzeczy.
Right. Yeah. For the content, yes.
Od początku, to znaczy to jest cały czas taki
I don't think we have enough data at this point for the exact sequence. But the content itself, yes, like even now we could do it.
If you would like to do this with Bach, it will be very easy because a lot of networks are trained for understanding Bach.
Right.
That,
the music transformer.
Exactly. That for Lutosławski, for contemporary music, because we as the human understand it in a little different way, it's hard to explain it to AI. AI has its own vision of what this music is, and it could be completely different from what we feel or we think that music is. So, if we ask to compose music in Lutosławski style, for AI it will be the right answer. For us it will be the wrong answer. And if we both are right, but we expect something different.
And that's where like the reinforcement learning and the human feedback comes in.
Yeah,
right? Like you're sort of correcting it all the time and saying, oh no, actually this is my preference.
Yes. And this, in fact, this is amazing because it's also for programming the synthesizer. You just use AI to just program the synthesizer, generate the sound, whatever. It's almost okay. For AI, it could be enough information. So it's close, but I have to change this. Maybe in the way with changing shoes, so it goes the wrong way. But after some time, the AI try to understand more and more.
Beautiful patterns.
Yeah, it's important. People use AI for different things, and they make AI for assistance in creative process is crucial. I think for the AI and for the human. Sorry for this high pitch.
No,
but
I completely agree.
That's the thing. That if we ask AI to compose music, it's the wrong way. If we ask AI to help me compose music, it's a good way.
And with programming.
Yes,
as well.
and so that's exactly what you are doing. Help AI to compose music.
So that it helps me also like do things better.
Here, the one of when we start learning here was a Cindy McTee, and she explained us that the computer give you answers to the question what if, and this is a fantastic explanation. So what if I do that, and the computer give you that answer. What if I do that, and you get an answer. So you're working much faster than in standard way. So you compose the music, give it to musician, make a performance. Well, it was weak, or I have to change this. So computer can give you that answers, and it speed up the process, and also maybe not speed up, but let you make things much more complicated.
Because you're not wasting resources.
Yeah, that's it. So you can write more operas, more symphonies, more.
That's the purpose.
Yes, that's the purpose. Yeah. You can do more.
Not just like optimization for the sake of it.
Exactly.
The point is not for me to be removed from the equation, but actually get to do the thing that's really meaningful to me.
I really have to get some much more information for you, but I will. I have your right email.
It's so nice to
thank
talk
you.
to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think even more than that is just like philosophically, I do feel scared for where we're going, and especially like being in a place like Northern California. Everyone's so eager to get there, and what's there, I don't really know. And sometimes I'm like, we're still trying to find meaning in things, and like, why do you want to just get there? And that's my motivation, sort of bringing it back, right? Bringing it back to a human.
It looks very like a very
yeah, it's
really, you know, that's to me it's an excellent example of agent. It's just a perfect example. Because we in general understand each other, but sometimes a stupid word can just ruin everything. And this kind of because it's active, it's adopting.
So dynamic, real time.
So that's it. It really helps us in communication. To me, I will use this as an example of the best use AI. Really, because it's an assistant.
Yeah, it's like
agent. People say that agent.
And what it is that we're optimizing here, and it's just like human relationships, right? It's at the end of the day, it's just about us being able to connect.
Quicker, more precise.
Yeah, accuracy, right? Like that was
yeah,
not lost in translation. But,
Cool.
I have also just mentioned your project with psychoacoustic. Still something ongoing.
This was a few years ago.
Jakbym jutro może zrobił taki manewr, że...
The lab is still doing research, but I'm not familiar with what they're doing right now.
So which lab are you? So it was with Takako Fujioka, or?
I work with Takako now.
So you work now?
Yeah. Oh, you know her?
Yeah, because I was in 1819, I was on Fulbright scholarship.
Oh, very cool, very nice. No, the one that I mentioned was when I was in Berkeley. So it was the Berkeley Psychology and Music Lab with Erika Knowles, right? But this was, like in 2022, something like that. And it was all about like implicit learning and statistical learning. And she's still doing that type of work and comparing like musical training, that type of thing. With Takako, it's more on the finding the biomarkers of like, where it lights up in the brain when you change keys, that type of thing.
So, but now you have like some kind of this practical project on psychology.
So I worked in industry for some time and applied the work, essentially, which was really good, but of course it's not as rigorous in terms of measuring things like you would be in a lab. The industry thing was like, okay, I have full creative agency over what we're gonna do, and we know it works because people perform better, but it's hard to establish causation. So yeah. That's kind of where I am right now. Yeah, well, thank you. And nice meeting you.
I love this idea of tactile teaching as well. I tutored some kids with special needs in mathematics, and getting them moved is like game changer.
You should try it. It's called Prisms. You can acquire it.
Very promising.
Sorry. Wyciągam zestaw perkusyjny Tomka z bazy, niepotwierdzone. Kuba Rutkowski gra na swojej perkusji, więc próbuję to zastąpić. Obydwaj są perkusistami, więc obydwaj grają jutro. Dlatego twoje zlecenie jest o nich zaczepione, rozumiesz? Czyli to często potem sobie deptamy po tym. Ktoś załatwił podwójnie jakieś rzeczy i za to jeszcze zapłacił za to. A leżało na miejscu na przykład. Bulanżerowi dałem pulpity, pyta mnie, czy przywiozę z Akademii pulpity, czyli takie jego myślenie, na przykład on stąd wyszedł i teraz mam zanotowane, że teraz oni potrzebują te pulpity, a ja zostałem w Akademii, to mi przypomina. One tam od neokwartetu leżą i ja mu to mówię, bo mogę też nie. Ale wszyscy zapominają, także to jest oczywiste.
Ja mogę coś wziąć za niść, jak trzeba, bo
nie ma tej sytuacji odwrotnej, czyli wiesz, że tam wszystko jest, a ktoś się pyta i prosi, żeby coś przywieźć, rozumiesz?
Chyba nie dzieje ogólnie. Myślałem, że może wtedy po boku, tak zostawimy na tym i on sobie będzie tak powietrzą tych.
Wiem, że to jakby nie ma jak tego sobie wyobrazić, ale koncert był zabukowany w Akademii Muzycznej. I od samego początku te wszystkie rzeczy, które w Akademii są, to one były od razu od ręki.
Alright, thank you so much.
Thank you. See you later.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm just...
Why are you apologizing?
I do nothing because I don't know what to do.
Waiting, I feel the same.
Waiting for another fire now. It should happen before 3. There's the idea, let's shut there.
One question. So where's the concert?
At Bunkier Sztuki.
Pogadamy w bunkrze po prostu spokojnie, jak masz teraz, do 15
do końca festiwalu mam tą bieżączkę stary, to na spokojnie chcę pogadać. Po koncercie zwykle, żeby mi dupy nie zapraszać, dlatego że koncert twój jest w niedzielę. Ja ci przy okazji opowiadam, że ja to mam gdzieś tutaj w głowie, razem z tymi przenosinami, więc teraz raczej myślę o tym, jak to od razu sieknąć w tym i jak ty mówisz o przypomnieniach i o tych statywach, to czekam na potwierdzenie, bo to od 2 dni męczę ten zestaw w bazie, bo to dla Adama Gołębieskiego, który zażądał inny trochę niż miał Tomek, ale ja zawsze robię tak, że mówię, mamy to i koniec. Ale znam Adama i wiem, że to nie jest ten zawodnik, ale też nie leciał precyzyjnie, na przykład wiesz, wielkim bębnem bez dziury, taki temat, tak? No i teraz mi odpowiada Paulina chyba, że Ale wiesz co, to jest taka dziura, że tam Tomek to zawsze zatykał. No i zaczynamy gadać o takich rzeczach.
Może zatkać.
No a już tutaj mój kolega mi załatwił właściwie za kasę to wszystko, co jest w liście.
Could you just okay, right? Finish this. I will show you that software.
Oh yeah.
It's called particle sound particles.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go in a second.
Okay. Yes. I mean.
Yeah. I'm just gonna connect to the Wi-Fi from my phone.
czymś jakimś szczególnym, on dalej stoi tam, gdzie stał. No, i właśnie tutaj zrobiłem troszeczkę błąd, bo to właśnie w takich sytuacjach nie należy wpuszczać się takie rzeczy. Trzeba wiedzieć, z kim masz się puścić. Czyli raczej to jest ten rider przeciwko riderowi. To jest mój troszkę skomplikowane z mikrofonami jakimiś DBA. Thanks a lot. In fact, it's still going on, so all our talks are still going on.
Okay, I'll wait there.
We'll cut it, of course. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Ja załatwię logistykę, z Kaliną się przejdziemy. Kazimy, żeby pójdziemy do Włoch. Dobra. Przejdziemy w ogóle.
No. To jest młodsze twoje, że ma 1000 lat. Nie widać.
To komplement.
Teraz widać po tobie, że jesteś tak młody jak ona.
No to
a tak jak mi się dowiedzieć, że ona jest starsza, to by było.
To by było, nie? Że to bogactwo słońce.